Hey everybody, it's the Last Robokai here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Prey. Gonna try and keep the intro very short, because as you may have noticed by the length of this video, I kinda recorded too much footage, and I can't cut any of it out.
This is all your fault!
And yeah, that's cool, guy. And yeah, like I said last time, this episode's theme is terrible, terrible mistakes. Well, terrible mistake number one, the video length. And we won't take long to get to the second terrible mistake, so let's jump straight in. Pretty much kicking off where we left it in the trauma center. All the trauma that we had in there.
All the trauma
previously.
happens. Yeah, I mean, you and I were thinking of the same joke right there.
So we've still got all the things we left in the place down there. The Weaver is still fudging around. I wanna go in and use a few things. There are a few things to pick up that I kind of forgot about, and the first thing I want to do is I wanna not do that.
Ah!
Second mistake. There we go. Yeah, so I just want to sneak over here and, like, you know, not get horribly shot by this whenever I want to go somewhere.
I love those error noises.
It was like, whatever. That solved that problem.
Done working for you.
I could have hacked it, but it was just like picking it up and setting it down has the same effect. It's genius.
Yeah, seriously, I don't think you're ever going to actually use that damn thing, so whatever.
I don't
Just
think
get it
any
out of your
enemies really
face.
ever come up here. I honestly don't think any enemies ever really come up this way. They're all on the floor. So something we forgot to do in the last episode, and won't use in this episode, is Dr. Howard's growth formula. So we'll use that to make ourselves our super tomato later.
Super tomato. That kind of sounds like something from frickin' what am I thinking of here? Stardew Valley. Only like you actually can't make a super tomato because they like don't have tomatoes in that game.
Make like super other stuff.
You can make a super pumpkin or a super melon. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing.
So no super grapefruits.
No.
And how disappointed are you exactly?
Oh man, that owned, dude. That Q-beam trick owned pretty hard.
All the way down. I have to go a bit further up because I kind of remembered when I was in like test recording that I didn't loot one of the dead phantoms in IT. So I'm gonna go take care of that and also hopefully not fall down.
Also, apparently break the floor.
I think that was
Apparently,
already
all of that
broken from earlier
eating you've been
shenanigans.
doing is catching up to you.
Morgan's just putting on weight. Morgan is increasingly starting to look like Alex.
Donk, 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 donk.
Yep. So
Corpulent.
there's somebody.
Family. What is that?
That's just a phantom.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it didn't have a.
It's Kelly Randolph.
All right, sure, why not? It didn't have a red thing over it initially, so I was wondering if it was almost like a neutral human or some crap. Come off of it, pal.
He tried.
Udon noodles.
I could have finished that way quicker, but it was just like, eh. This puts me at a good health limit for something I'm going to show off shortly. So I've decided we're going to go to the Shuttle Bay today because the Shuttle Bay is a mystical, fantastic place where
only good things happen. Okay.
It's a place that's going to change later. So I figured I might as well show it now in its original state.
In the event of a loss of atmosphere,
But before we do that, I think I might install some neuromods. And so this is the mistake I was talking about once we've unlocked it. Because when I did my test run, I installed a certain number of neuromods. I did it differently this time.
Position. Okay, that's reasonable enough.
Yeah, you know.
Ether resistance. That's definitely reasonable enough. I'm waiting for the mistake here. I'm not seeing it.
You're watching the mistake.
Just installing Mindjack?
I just installed a whole lot of Typhon powers.
Aren't you
That is a
already?
mistake.
Aren't
That is
you,
a terrible, horrible mistake.
Okay. I suppose I'll nightmare.
I will let January explain the mistake I have just made.
Morgan, that massive typhon appeared shortly after you installed alien neuromods. You're being hunted. I warned you.
I just wanted to show off just how much
Damn!
damage our friend the Nightmare does. Also, thank you for telling me about Deadly Combos game. You've given me the little tips at the weirdest times. That's the Nightmare. That's the big thing we saw. It was kind of hunched over when it was punching on the door, so it wasn't at its full size. It shrinks down to fit through doorways.
Morgan.
So let's show off fighting the Nightmare with conventional weapons.
Jeez Louise, like,
Yes,
honestly,
it fires 3 kinetic blasts that home in on you.
Yeah, I was hearing deadly. Yikes! I read deadly combos as just a. Okay, I keep losing my train of thought because this guy is legitimately unnerving.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen it. Like, look at him! Look at him! I know he's got homing. He's got homing psychic powers and
donk, 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 donk.
And I'm like, oh, if he's right behind me, I'm sure he's right behind me. I'll just plan to, throw down a null wave. Now he's coming from the other way.
Of course he is.
2030.
Shut up, exhibitor.
Okay, so it's time to get ready to try and fight this guy. And honestly, I've got a lot of tricks and things I can try and use to play with him. So I'm gonna try and throw a static burst down.
Okay.
Because all powers work on him. See, the Typhon lures work. So this is kind of like stunning him for a little bit, and it's time to take care of him the old-fashioned way.
1980 to 1990.
Oh, come on, buddy! Yes!
Bit of a
that
Ghostbusters moment.
Incredibly hard.
Look at all the stuff.
Oh my god.
The stuff that was probably actually more useful gear until I turned it into goo, so it's gonna be neuromods anyway, so who cares? Look at all that. I mean, look at all that.
Where it was ending up. Damn! That was incredibly cool.
So we will be seeing a lot more of the Nightmare as the game goes on. The Nightmare will appear regardless of whether or not you've installed Typhon neuromods. He will appear on no neuromods. He will appear on human-only neuromod runs. What he does in those ones, though, is he has trouble finding you, and he doesn't come bum-rushing out at you. Like, there is a chance whenever you install a Typhon neuromod, once that introduction happens, he's gonna appear and just start ruining your day. And,
when he shows up as your like nemesis, like on like a no neuromod run, is there a point where you can say to January, "I told you so"?
Well, one of the things you'll note when we engaged him is you can actually see there was a time limit. So if he spots you, all you have to do is just like run the fuck away from him and hide somewhere that he can't reach you for 3 minutes.
Sure.
And there is a mechanic for that. Killing him apparently removes him from play, removes him as a chance to spawn for 30 minutes. Evading does it for 20 minutes. Is what I've read. It could be different, but yeah.
No, that makes sense to me. I did notice that it said you can either kill or flee from the Nightmare.
Mm-hmm. There's a chance he'll spawn. There's also a chance that when you load into an area, he'll just be ambling around. When he comes at you as a Typhon, like power is like neuromod is inserted. He knows exactly where you are and is going to come for where you are. And there's a chance he might not find you, but he's pretty aware of your location and hunts around for you.
So in that sort of case, is killing him basically the only practical thing, or I mean, can you just like lead him on a wild goose chase for a little while?
Oh, you can totally lead him on a wild goose chase. First time I encountered him was actually in the Arboretum, and I led him on a merry run because of pathing issues trying to get around the side of the greenhouse.
So that seems legit to me.
And there are some places he can't go. He has trouble moving through certain areas.
Morgan, I found a satellite project dealing with remote psychotronic signaling, RPSS-X5. I think it could spoof a neural signature that matches yours. Plain English, you could use it to get that new Typhon off your back. Latest
hey, we just murdered one, but thanks, January.
You'd have to find a replacement part.
Mixed signals.
Yeah, that's a side quest that happens once you have your first proper engagement with the Nightmare, which is, I should reiterate, a Typhon created specifically to deal with you. And we're in the shuttle bay now, and everyone's probably already noticed we have our helmet on. There is no oxygen here. We are
Yeah, I did get the impression that there was zero atmosphere. So this is something that's been created specifically to deal with us. Is the nature of that going to be commented upon in the game? In term like basically what I'm asking is are they going to say why or how the nightmare came to be? I'm legitimately curious what this implies about like Typhon social structure or something like that.
not specifically though. If you're looking into the information we know about the Typhon and what we're going to learn about them as time goes on, what we're going to learn about the coral and things like that, and knowing what we know about how they reproduce and everything like that. It will make sense, at least in like the grand scheme of how the Typhon work. Like, you'll get the Typhon and you'll go, okay, yeah, all right, I understand.
Fair enough. I won't belabor the point right now then.
Well, like I can understand why the Typhon might be a little worried that someone has been like even without neuromods, you've been basically just like getting around, murdering, or like getting past all of their tricks, traps, and everything.
That implies a greater social awareness than we have up to this point been given with regard to the Typhon, though. Like, I mean, we see them like not beating the crap out of each other, but true cooperation between different organisms, let alone organisms in different portions of the station, is not something that has been demonstrated so far.
Yeah, and even Morgan's notes is basically, this thing is like the Typhon, but it's not, and it seems like its sole purpose is hunting me. That's what Morgan says. So that's
seems legit. As long as it doesn't start growling stairs.
Or stairs.
Yeah.
No, the Nightmare is not a communicator at all. It is a giant, weird-legged monstrosity that shoots out homing kinetic beams to ruin.
Yeah,
that
wasn't even a damn.
Levels critical.
Yeah, it's too many of these.
Frickin' mimics. That made me jump.
Yeah, at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, greater mimics. They're not going to be fun to deal with, so I'm just going to start like shotgunning them.
Mr. Yu, this is Eddie Voss. I work down in cargo. The fact is, we've been stealing from you, sir. It started small, just moving harmless contraband on and off the station. Pharmas, food not on the safe list. I don't know, maybe you don't pay your tax and hardware enough, but Lily got ambitious after a while. Started stealing neuromods, fabrication plans, selling them to TranStar rivals. Yeah, sit on that for a sec, Mr. Yu. Kazma's got our IP now. Lily made me modify some of the old alarm panels around Talos so we could use them as dead drops. I'm certain a few of them still have company property. 3 taps of the wrench will pop it open. Anyway, I just wanted to say, I never meant for things to get out of hand. It just took on a life of its own. But I'd like to make it right. Any way I can.
Oxygen levels critical.
That's all.
Please seek a breathing apparatus immediately.
So that's one of the other ways that we figure out how to get what's in those alarms that you were looting earlier on.
Yeah, there's a really good organic redundancy to the explanations of all these little side quests and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Particularly with it coming from Voss right there, because we already knew he wasn't comfortable with it from another transcribe we had.
Can you confirm, please? I have some system malfunctions. It's across the board. It's hard to make sense. I need to park ASAP. Recommend security detail when I come in. Hearing some noise in the cabin. Shit, what is going on?
Remember the space shuttle?
Womp.
I don't know why I can't reach anyone, but I am dead in the water. Repeat, I have 0 engines. I'm drifting. God damn it, Steve, answer your transcribe. All right. Shit. Investigating cabin. I have a sidearm. If all clear, I will attempt to EVA to an airlock.
Warning, air supply system malfunction. Please
Boy, that station announcer was right on schedule with that warning.
Operator.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is so boned.
Yeah, not exactly where I would want to be, but at least he was near the station when it went down, so hey, who knows, maybe he got out okay.
I'm gonna give that a low priority. Maybe that just has something to do with the fact that I've been watching Friday the 13th movies because, you know, on the day we're recording this, it is Friday the 13th, and just the relative survival levels of people in bad situations in those movies is absolutely goddamn terrible.
I thought it was awfully appropriate we were doing the video with the giant stalking monstrosity.
On Friday the 13th, I was thinking that too, actually.
Escape pod with Emanuela de Silva. We're stuck in the launch tube. The hatch on the outside is supposed to blow when the pod launch initiates, but I guess the bolt's misfired. Could you help us out? You'd have to EVA to get the hatch off from the outside. I know it's a lot to ask. I don't know what else to do. Sit here and starve, I guess. There's an override switch behind the panel to force a pod launch. But don't hit that until the outside hatch is off. We'd be blown to bits.
Well, number of ways you could fuck these guys' days up.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Send an operator.
That's what I'm doing, Niels. It's not responding. None of them are. Shit.
Was it those things? Did they shut the air off?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter though, right? I mean, it should be hours before we run out.
No, Niels. The system is working in reverse. It's pulling oxygen out of the air. We've got 10 minutes. Tops.
What? But
You're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Now, we did meet Frank and Emmanuel de Silva in like a certain form earlier in emails.
you in there, man?
Frank making a lot of really unwanted advances towards Emanuela.
I thought that was right. I couldn't remember.
Right? Yes. Then why the hell is the launch sequence doing jack shit? I don't know, Drew. I'm sorry. What about your pod? Open up. I can't do that. What are you talking about? Bolts in the outside hatch misfired. We're stuck in the launch tube. Ugh! You didn't wait for anyone else, you son of a bitch! I hope you starve to death in there!
Womp
Right.
womp.
Frank is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
there
kind of a bad
is
person.
like a mod in there. I'm not going to bother because in a test run it took me about 10 minutes to get back out of there again. It's really wonky. And like you get in there using mimic matter, and so we've got a live or die decision to make now. We could
Sure.
we could let a jackass live, or we could let a jackass die and like kill another person as collateral. Because she's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's help him out. Let's launch it. We probably forgot to do something, but that's okay.
I can't imagine why there would be any problems here.
What's a bolt? I don't know.
Wait, what are you doing? Oh, damn it! Okay, listen. I don't know what you saw or read or... It's not what it looks like!
No, it's what it looks like.
Ah!
He's a piece of shit. But please, don't punish me because of him. I just want to go home. Please, Morgan.
Donk!
And away they go. Safe and sound.
Womp.
Oh dear.
Womp. Womp. Womp.
Hazardous atmosphere conditions.
Okay, let's try that again. And this time, let's not kill them, but let's have a little bit of a listen to what they have to say.
Mm.
Wait, what are you doing? Oh, damn it! Okay, listen. I don't know what you saw or read or... It's not what it looks like!
No, it's what it looks like.
Oh. Okay then.
Oh, thank God. Morgan, would you please take the hatch off so I can go home?
Okay.
Warning, air supply.
You can just keep doing this forever.
Repairs can be made by an engineer.
Oh my lord.
Morgan, please. I'm begging you.
Okay, I suppose we better go
Okay,
do it properly
fine.
then.
Enough messing around. Some Batman crap right there.
Morgan, would you please take the hatch off so I can go home?
So there is more horribleness to Frank than we even realize. He is not just a weird, creepy stalker guy who is basically content to escape the entire place with only one other person. He's the guy who's essentially in charge of maintenance on the escape pods. He's the guy who makes sure they work, and it's worth noting, only his worked for some reason. I wonder why. We'll learn exactly the circumstances behind that one soon enough.
Even his didn't really work very well. Even in a matter of life and death, he's just incredibly damn bad at his job.
Well, anyway, let's go help out. Let's go help out these poor sods. And you know what it means now? Spacewalk time, spacewalk time, spacewalk time.
Gravity detected.
We'll do a little exploring while we're out here as well, because there are a lot of fun things to bump into and do, and it's probably the reason why this video is way too damn long. Is because I'm just like, I want to look at this, and I want to kill that thing, and I want to go over here, and I want to eat all of the candy.
Human corpse.
Exactly. You can't just leave a human corpse out there for no reason. That would be sacrilegious and delicious.
If that's one word for it. Another word would be hilarious.
it's the battle of two objects drifting in space again. There we go. Now we have everything we need from the.
How, like, Children of a Dead Earth plays, I think. Oh, come on!
I know, we're right there, and there's just like, whoa. Anyway, taken
Fuck
care
off, Technopath.
Yeah, there are a lot more technopaths just sort of floating around. There you can see off to the left there is our friend the space shuttle. We will go there, but not this particular jaunt. We'll go later in the episode.
We've already been waiting a while. It's fine.
We will also take care of the black box quest and the nightmare satellite quest in this particular episode as well.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, basically everything that we had outside, just outside of the station.
Yeah.
Did you even open that hatch, or is that one of the ones that you forgot to open?
No, this is the bolts. Okay. Yeah, these are the bolts. Yeah.
I got it confused with all of the hatches that let you into the station itself.
They're airlocks, as you can note. The power plant one is locked, and the arboretum is locked as well. So there we go. Now when we go there, we can open them up. So there is a human corpse hiding in the inside bits of this station. So let's go.
That is definitely something worth investigating. Another random floating corpse.
Random floating corpse, but random floating corpse can mean a lot of things. There could be gear, it could be access to somewhere, there could be an enemy nearby that we have to violate with Q-beams.
Million technopaths.
I
can definitely feel why you like the Q-beam so much, by the way.
The Q-beam is a very, very nice weapon.
When you've got so many enemies around that have all of these different resistances and are so incredibly dangerous up close, being able to zap something with a coherent light lance that destabilizes them from all realities seems pretty legit to me.
It is definitely my go-to for this Let's Play. I will try to mix it up a little bit, but
take ammo.
Not in this episode.
Oh Lord.
I can't find that open airlock. I think there's something following me. I keep hearing it. That doesn't make any sense. It's just in my head. Ay, Mateo. David. I love you both. Mom, I'm sorry. I know you were just trying to protect me. I love you so much.
It's pretty uncommon that games have. I don't know whether to call it the gall or the fortitude to show the lights out moment for the people that you find around here. And I'm not talking about like the the violent death moment. That's substantially different from the lost, cold, and abandoned feeling. Something like that puts in.
Oh, absolutely. Also, kicking myself. Kicking myself. I only just now noticed that supply closet staring me in the face 100 times.
I didn't.
They blend in a little too well in this area. But yeah, there are lots of little nooks and crannies around the place with supplies that you can take advantage of. And this is basically just another inner workings part of the station.
Right. This reminds me of the Guts episode, which is not a wholly bad thing. I know a lot of people when we posted it that were just like, oh man, I hated the Guts, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm really difficult to make motion sick, or my brain just sort of implicitly accepts whatever as a relative up. But the Guts was really cool to me.
Oh, the Guts is visually just amazing. Like, there is so much to like about the Guts. We're sort of floating over the hardware labs at the moment.
I really appreciate just the random gargoyles out here for no discernible reason.
Well, TranStar trying to make themselves big and important. Oh yeah, sure, whatever. We've got a fucking like a winged lion. I don't think that's meant to be a manticore because it's got an actual like lion face, not a man's face like all manticores are supposed to have. But who knows? Alex and William and Mom are all weird jerks anyway, so they probably put those on there and think they're all super important.
Truthfully, the funniest thing to me is just how it is very clearly trying to make itself look like the S.H.I.E.L.D. Super Fortress or something. So I just have this mental image in my head of all of the U's just being outrageous nerds, and they're just like, we are making this like all of our superhero fantasies, and that is that.
Because when you're rich as hell, what's the point of doing things in a half measure?
I also appreciate just the massive fucking billboard. In case you forgot where you were.
There is one billboard that has a funny story attached to it. We'll have to see if we can find it at some point in the Let's Play. Kind of cracks me up when I see it.
Which like a billboard?
Yeah, there's a billboard around here somewhere that says something kind of funny. But we won't really get the story for it until I think when we go down to the power plant much later.
I am very patient and willing to wait.
Because the power plant is marked, so it's not a spoiler. We'll be going there. Hey, another corpse. Let's go get it.
Oh, good.
Oh, what is this? Cystoids in space! Ow.
Ow!
Cystoids in face! That was... I'm not getting that bolt back.
Yeah, that one's definitely out there. I do like to think of what happens so long after you fire something like that, because of do you remember the conversation that a couple of Human Alliance characters were having in the first Mass Effect, in terms of how Sir Isaac Newton is the most dangerous son of a bitch on the planet or in the universe?
You do not simply eyeball the shot, because it will travel a very long time before it ruins somebody's day somewhere out there.
Right. So for those of you who aren't perfectly,
I think it was Mass Effect 2. I think.
Was that one? I thought it was 1. But the point is that a dude is screaming at a couple of gunnery soldiers, and he's just like, look, when you shoot something out of a mass driver, it is going to continue to go on forever until it hits something with all of the force that you originally fired it at. So do not eyeball your targets. You fucking wait for a firing solution. You do not screw around with this. And I just got that entire thing running through my head with the Huntress Boltcaster. Just a couple eons from now, frickin' Cybertronian Ark or whatever is coming by, and they just bump into the frickin' Huntress Boltcaster, and they just don't even know what to make of it.
I just hear this squeaky sound. What the fuck?
It becomes an entire like Decepticon only thing.
Megatron just
episode.
gets it in his head that he really needs that Nerf dart.
Either that or Starscream just is like, this must be some sort of amazing weapon, and goes completely out of his way to get it. And Soundwave is just like,
Megatron would be like, it's a thing, I must have it. And Starscream would be like, you're stupid as hell, Megatron, and then get shot. And then just like
crumped again.
Yeah, just sulk for the rest of the episode, and at the end he's just gonna like stand there, just staring at Megatron, and Megatron's just gonna be like, shut the fuck up, Starscream, and I'm pretty sure at least half the episodes where Megatron obsesses over like something ends exactly that way.
Yes. Decepticons had a tendency to do that with I think it was Blitzwing, right? The guy who got
Blitzwing.
Yeah, the guy who got a football coach to be his general.
Yeah, and would later be the one Decepticon to finally tell Galvatron, you're a fucking idiot. Speaking of fucking idiots, yeah, just walk through the fire, it's fine, Voltaic Phantom, I'm sure...
It didn't even not hurt him. Like, that shaved off about a quarter of his health, and he was just like, yeah, whatever.
Warning, air supply system malfunction.
God damn it.
Please evacuate.
That could have gone better.
Yeah, he's just gonna stand in it, it's fine.
Sure, why not?
Or an opera.
I'm just like, well, probably don't have to use shotgun ammo.
Yeah, seriously, this guy is not having a very smart day. And in space, if you're not having a smart day, it's gonna be your last day. I like the way he shattered while you were scanning it. For some reason, that appealed to me.
He'd already been like full scanned. We've already scanned all the mimics and all of the Phantom and all of the greater mimic. I think we just completed the Voltaic Phantom. We still need a few more thermals and I think a few more etheric Phantoms.
I'm glad you're keeping track of this because I sure as hell am not.
And we still got quite a lot of Poltergeist to go as well. Because we've only really encountered one of those that's alive so far. The other one is not there.
Yeah, the only other one that we what the hell?
Stop making doubles of things. Oh dear, they had no fucking idea what they were in for. I love mimic jokes that they have not gotten old yet.
I don't think they're going to. Like,
warning, oxygen levels critical. Please seek a breathing apparatus immediately.
Relax, announcer. We've got this.
Yeah, we're doing drugs. Shut up.
Injecting all of the hallucinogens directly into our eyeball.
We're going to become as gods. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I did have a lot of fun. I actually did have a lot of fun with it when I figured out that you are injecting neuromods into your eyeball, simply because because that was always the joke of where you're supposed to put acid.
Yep.
Because doing acid
drop it on
is
your
a terrible goddamn idea, so you just do it directly into your eyeball. Why not?
And now we are turning our shotgun into a beast.
The bark stick.
Yeah, this thing now is an absolute day ruiner. Don't you worry about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna drink all of the energy drinks. It's fine.
God bless. Now I want something. You know what? I'm actually gonna grab a can of water real quick.
That's okay. There's nothing particularly.
Morgan just made me thirsty.
Morgan, these Morgans are making me thirsty. No, there is something up on this. Yeah, we'll come back. Not everything seems to be going so well for people aboard this station. There are more than a few problems.
Well, I mean, I'm not seeing any more corpses that I'm used to at any rate.
But like we saw what was happening to Dr. Calvino.
Sure.
He wasn't the only one that was getting a bit weird and seeing things.
Get your shit together.
Please evacuate
Yeah,
until
thanks,
repairs
Scott.
can be made by
But
an
Scott's
operator or an
not
operator.
coping. He's
Yeah.
trying. He's not the only one. There was, I think, a security guy as well who was struggling, and everyone wasn't really taking it seriously. Please, people, take cries for help, mental illness, and other stuff really seriously. Or because I wasn't sure if this was it. I should actually go and just look up where they are and just like grab them all. But yeah, like he's not well. Scott is not well. Why is Scott drawing this? I wonder. I wonder why Scott's drawing that.
Particularly off the dry erase boards. That's kind of a nice touch.
Yeah, no, something's really breaking his brain, and he's not the only one. There are bad times ahead for this station. It's hard to tell if they predicted it was something that's going to happen later, or if it was the a prediction of the outbreak. That'll take us to the guts. So that's where all the fuel stuff is.
Sure, yeah, we were there a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. Everything was on fire and destroyed and broken because they all got really, really drunk. If we think about it rationally.
Who's we, or who's they in this case? All the people who were working on the guts? Because that makes sense to me. I'm just making certain I understand.
Yeah, just rationally.
Huh?
Rationally.
Rational. I'm pretty sure that was the episode I made that joke.
Yes, yep, that was precisely the discussion. It's good, you're keeping up.
Just keep saying it, and everybody will just implicitly assume you know what you're talking about. These are social life hacks right here. Take notes, everybody.
Poor Scott. Scott kind of got stuck in here and didn't really know what to do, and then the oxygen got cut off.
You didn't deserve to die like that. Definitely did not. Poor little guy.
No, none of them deserve to die. Really, these guys. These guys are not complicit in the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad things that go on in this shithole.
True story. Even the people that are just like they're a piece of shit. That there was a. I posted a lot of extra words about this in the Something Awful thread after the first gentleman we ran into who was definitely not a good person.
Yeah.
But the barometer that I tend to use for situations like this is, people can be a piece of crap, but there comes a point where, oh Lord.
Yeah, so that was, just
Sorry,
so you really
busy.
got to understand who Frank Jones was.
Yeah,
and here's the big thing.
Going right in after that.
Warning.
Yeah, Alex was like, hey, don't fix the escape pods.
Evacuate until repairs can be
I'll let you know when it's okay to fix the escape pods.
Quote unquote fix, because you're using parts that aren't meant to go into those slots. What an idiot.
But,
I don't know. So to complete my thought, my entire barometer was, if you're at the point where it's not reasonable to think that you can do something to karmically cancel out all of the horrible, no good, awful things that you've done, and that's a pretty high bar to set. I mean, you have to be like some sort of incredibly demented person to be like that. If you're a
Alex.
creepazoid, yeah, I mean, Alex is working up to that barometer pretty quickly. Yes. That's what we're talking about, though. We're talking about this dude who's a total creepazoid and is lazy and is absurdly self-centered. Is he a good person? Hell to the no. But I mean, that isn't something that's like you. There is literally nothing in the universe that could make up for this.
Warning. Oxygen levels critical. Please seek a breathing apparatus.
All right. Well, we've solved the problem that was stopping us from getting rid of Frank and shooting him into space with someone who hates him, and we'll probably choke him to death at some point.
I mean, honestly, if that happens, that's just more proof for what I'm talking about. It's a win-win.
Not sure how they know that we've actually fixed the bolts, but
they probably. My guess is that they heard the explosive bolts doing a thing when you were hitting them with your wrench.
probably.
Launch.
Thanks, Morgan. Means a lot to me that you did all that, despite Frank. I'm transmitting the location of something that could help. I couldn't get it off the station, but maybe it can help you.
in hindsight, it really would have served her better to talk about that particular bribe before they were working on all of that.
Yeah, but I think that would have cheapened the ultimate decision you made. I think they were trying to, I think they tried to create a problem without a solution that rewards you, and we'll see a few like that. Next video, there's going to be an absolute humdinger of a decision you have to make.
To be clear, I'm talking about it from Manuela's perspective, not from Arcane's. Arcane did a fantastic job, even if Emanuela ends up looking a little dumb in the process. That's fine. I'd much rather have an impactful decision than everybody acting 100% rational 100% of the time. There's that word again. I'm going to keep using it. You're going to agree with me.
I agree. So we've managed to get Scott's key now, so we can go upwards instead of downwards.
Whoosh! Employee entrance.
Yeah, we can get into the information booth, which is more like a security booth, but whatever. Now, there is a path I don't take. Might have noticed when we were sort of in one of those little waiting lounge areas, the roofing, the slats of the roofing was kind of warped. You can actually get up without like having to go through all this way. You can get up via that. And there are a few things to find in there, so I guess it's another case of I'm gonna have to come back here, which is fine because we are going to have to come back here at some juncture anyway.
It strikes
so
me
it's no big deal.
that having to come back to a spot is pretty much the modus operandi for the entire game at this point.
Yeah, it works out pretty well. We haven't even touched on a great deal of the places we can visit too. So.
We're trapped by
Nils.
that poor motherfucker.
Warning, oxygen levels.
Yeah, well, we already know what happened to Nils.
Yep.
And everybody,
He
literally everybody
suffocated.
else. The Technopath had a very because I'm gonna like that. Yeah, that was the Technopath flying around, so he had a very practical solution to all of life's problems. He's basically just turn off the oxygen.
Shut down the grav lifts.
That was like their one hope.
Yeah, does that
to try
even help you at this point?
It would stop the mimics and it would stop the phantoms, but it wouldn't stop technopaths. It wouldn't stop telepaths. It wouldn't stop weavers. But
So
I think
pretty
to
much,
start with, they were
pretty much all of the things that you for one reason or another look forward to fighting, it would give you less of a chance to fight them.
yeah, but not
Right.
not everyone is me and like flies shrieking from the trees doing a Xena the Warrior Princess, a la 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 chant. So it's alright.
Okay, you have a point, but still, I mean, you're kind of objectively having fun there. So,
Well, if you think about it rationally.
this is going to turn back on me at some point. I'm absolutely positive.
I appreciate the way they have been using the glue to tell subtle stories and also give you subtle hints that hey, there's something, or maybe there's somebody up here that you should take advantage of.
Even if you can't be quite as acrobatic as they were.
I've been having so much trouble with climbing on glue stuff lately. I don't know what it is, but it just has not been working the way it was when I started out. I was much more agile. I'm getting old in real time, old and fat in real time from all the food I made.
Yeah, no, it just looks finicky to me. I mean,
It is a bit.
I don't see you doing something that I'm just like, oh, he could totally do it like this and it would work better. I mean, if there's something different you should be doing, I'm not getting it.
This is Mia Baker's room. She's the head of the Shuttle Bay.
Fleet
She's
Chief
the one in charge.
reminds me of the title I had at my first job. I was the only developer in the entire company. And I was just working for some like frickin' real estate company, so it didn't even really matter. And I asked for my title to be Software Fleet Admiral, and HR was basically like, if this means I don't have to pay you more money, I'm fine with it.
Critical.
So, for the first 2 years of my career, I was a Software Fleet Admiral.
Oh man, I'm actually really jealous. So that's just a leverage assistance thing. We've already got one of those. Hey, we're getting duplicates.
Duplicates. It's unfortunate you can't recycle those.
Meh. taking up space. Or hacking. I did look around to see if I could find the password for this. I couldn't, so we just gotta roll with it for this one.
Yeah, seriously, who
That's
cares?
that's mostly what the practice runs are for. Is like, can I find the password we need, and not have to like futz around. They're just talking about.
It's
you know,
hopeless.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Everything's terrible.
Womp 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 womp.
Yep, just let you know she has some fabrication plans, so there's a good reason to hunt it down. They've got these nice glass set up in the place that you can smash your way through if you really want to, because it's only regular glass.
I appreciate that the safe just like knows whose it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very important thing in the future. This safe is mine. Only I can touch it. Look at my crazy key lock.
Oh, at least it's coded, like set up so people can know. Hey, if this safe ends up in exactly the wrong place, they know exactly who it owns to. I don't know how it could do that, but hey, look.
Yeah,
we are in the middle of a weird alien Go invasion. I'm just gonna roll with
it. Seems to me like you're solving for exactly the wrong thing here. It's a horrible alien goo invasion. I hope my safe is in the right spot.
I hope everybody knows it's mine, so that they can take my stuff out for me. There are a lot of cases where someone said, "Hey, here's the code to my safe. Go to my safe." What if they go in there and it's got somebody else's name on it? They'll be like, "Oh no!" and then get shot out into space.
Warning. Air supply.
I mean, getting shot out into space seems like a pretty legitimate way to end this.
Escape pods. Can you get to us?
No. We cut the power to the lifts to keep those damn things from getting up to the control room.
Well, we're all stuck here anyway. We can't get these pods open.
I don't understand.
I'll keep spamming the security computers with help requests. Maybe someone will notice eventually.
They won't.
Yeah. Maybe.
They don't realize that everywhere else is kind of in the station is kind of fucked up too. It's like, you guys aren't alone on this, I'm afraid.
Poor folks. Volunteer flight schedule. That euphemism still turns my stomach a little.
Volunteer. They're a lot shadier than they seem too.
Oh yeah, volunteered some cat at the end of a barrel of a gun. All right,
I don't know what I'm doing here.
That mug.
that
mug's inner lining is just one of the most gaudy and unnecessary things I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Is this? Oh, okay.
I think this is something you do later. I can't remember, but I did it now because
you were
I don't
there
know.
And there was a button you could press.
It was a button and I had to push it, and I have no non-button
self-control. I mean, it seems reasonable.
When I was a kid, they didn't have stop buttons on escalators. Like, they didn't have glass over the stop buttons on escalators.
Yeah, they changed that after our generation, didn't they?
Yeah, because our generation wouldn't stop fucking pressing the big shiny red button.
Seriously,
and it's just
don't want us to press it. Don't make it so damn attractive.
So they put a little bit of perspex on it that you can sort of slide it around and out of the way, which is actually a lot smarter. But back in the day, it's like
that got the message across. It was exactly the same sort of thing with the fire alarms or whatever. Particularly like my first elementary school. It was literally just like a lever you pulled. It wasn't even just like this push in or whatever. And it got to the point where so many of my classmates, I never did it myself, I swear to God, but it got to the point where the elementary school teachers would tell me and my class that the fire alarms were loaded with ultraviolet ink that would squirt on us if we pulled it. So if we pulled it wrong, they could figure out who did it when the fire department showed up. Which every kid believed at the time, because we're just like frickin' 6 and 7. We don't know how absolutely retarded that sounds.
I mean, it's not like it wasn't a concept that existed. So yeah, like Emmanuel de Silva, she was trying to get her mum some neuromods. I assume to try and resolve something like I don't know, probably a medical issue, or get her like help her get better work or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it said medical, so I'm thinking that if a neuromod rewrites neuropathways, you're probably looking at something like dementia or Alzheimer's. I actually thought initially when you were talking about that, I was like, that could possibly fight a lot of those neurological diseases related to aging.
Well, we'll actually see some stuff about that later on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good to know I'm not completely insane. Oh my goodness. This is such a big area. It takes my breath away.
I was just listening to hear something was going to start screaming because I checked that stuff, and it has been a good probably about 45 or so minutes since I killed the last nightmare, so it's not like he can't appear now.
He can.
So I'm just like, I start injecting drugs. I'm looking around to make sure the drug sensing popo ain't coming down on me. I can smell your drugs, child.
I mean, that must be how all of this got past the Australian censors, because when you do the bad drugs, like a thing that's literally called a nightmare shows up immediately.
I kind of feel like that should be a game about drug awareness and just get you continually hounded by a guy going, I smell your drugs.
Is you doing the reefer?
Are you on the pot? And still you scan it and it just says, your dad. Are you on the cigaweed, son?
Is you doing the devil's dandruff?
You're making your mom cry with all them ciga mushrooms you're taking.
And then you're looking at that brown. You're doing the brown boy.
Are you sniffing the genkulums?
Alright, you win. Oh, we're finally back at the hardware labs, right?
Yeah, we're going back to the hardware labs because there's two things to do here now. Remember, I pulled up the satellite. Then I said, we won't be needing the thingy off this satellite for a while, so I'm not going to take it because it takes up inventory space. That's the thingy we need.
Okay, then.
Ta-da!
There's more things!
Yeah, there was an etheric phantom there before. Oh, God. Oh, there we go. Now we have all the etheric phantom stuff. He's not going to do as much damage as he used to now as well, because we are 50% resistant. If we took another interesting point actually is if we took another point in the etheric resistance, we'd actually wouldn't just take less damage from him, but we'd actually restore our psi points.
I like the idea of him just throwing everything he's got, and you're just like marching forward like the damn T-1000.
Like, it definitely starts to become like that Tom and Jerry cartoon, where Tom tries to poison Jerry and ends up accidentally just making him far stronger than he ever was before.
Oh man, I remember that. He's like trying to jam a book or whatever on him, and
he tries to hit him with the book, and he just rips it in half. He tries to hit him with the fire poker, and it just makes a series of Jerry shapes in the metal that's just bent.
Oh man. Of all of the references I was thinking might happen in this Let's Play, that a Tom and Jerry one was not on my list, but I'm so happy that I was wrong on that.
Still one of the most amazing cartoons.
It really is.
Oh no, that thing's a fire hazard again. Let's fix it. By fire hazard, I mean setting my insides into ash.
I like how the glue just sort of sprays off once you
everything's fixed now. It explodes. Making sure this is fully loaded. Because there's a Weaver up here now.
I was gonna say, are you expecting something?
There is a Weaver, and again, like the primary reason I do the shenanigans I do with the Q-beam against these guys is they almost always have someone nearby. The Technopath is going to have turrets and corrupt operators. The Weaver is going to have cystoids and cystoid pods. And the And the telepath is always going to have suicide bombers that I don't particularly feel like killing. So
The suicide bomber portion seems like the worst one out of all of the.
it's the
all of the
it's the one that
options.
will definitely make you feel the least good about yourself.
Yeah, no
All right,
joke.
everybody, go fetch the
Cystoids
stick.
at least are hilarious.
Cystoids are adorable, like a suicide puppy kind of way.
They're exploding testicles, man.
It's like, he's too fast! Anime speed lines.
He moves like they do.
I can't catch. I was like, what do I shoot these guys with? Oh, right.
Yeah, seriously. I'm a little confused with it, too. Alright, wonderful. The radioactive exploding testicles are gone.
Made my
That thing
fucking
just
day.
got caught and kept squeaking forever.
Yep, it was just gonna keep going. I wanted to pick it up, though.
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. I mean, you almost did the world a disservice by picking it up, but by the same token, I can understand why that happened. Did it?
Right? I was like, well, that got a little bit too close for comfort.
Yes.
All right, let's go put Lane's dead body out of its misery.
Open-de-dough. The black
box.
project.
Yeah. So this is where they're making some interesting things, and they're not necessarily making interesting things relating to neuromods.
Yup, that was a sick
Yep.
kill, all right. I love it.
Yeah.
Get back here.
Yeah, I never got one of those before, so I was pretty happy I pulled that off. I decided rather than waste ammo, I might just beat him on the head. Some interesting looking operators anyway. Maybe this is what they were working on.
Uh-huh.
Got some cube beam cells. That's mostly what you'd expect to come in here for, is to get all this really cool ammunition. Huh, interesting.
A military
Military operator.
operator. Figures. Honestly, you called something black box, and I was thinking it was either going to be like an explicitly armed operator, or interesting, or a thing like the machine from frickin' Person of Interest, like something that just records everything all the time.
Sounds interesting. They were trying to put Q beams. They were trying to put Q beams on the black box. On the military operators. And they were trying to do it for William, not for anybody else. Anybody else that was up there. We're back in space. We got to go out and we got to play with the satellite and we got to visit the space shuttle. So that's what we're doing.
Space.
That's about the only thing I could cut out the entire video. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. You're trapped here forever. Don't worry. The next one is just under an hour. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Here forever. I'm Mr. Burns pointing at the sign right now.
I can't help it. This space station is full of so much stuff, and it's all so exciting. And I'm flying through space, and that satellite is moving. We got really lucky that it was actually sort of orbiting past the space shuttle as it was. This video probably would have taken even longer.
Oh,
I
good.
gotta catch it now. Come here.
Stop moving!
Come here. Stop it. Stop it.
I do appreciate how much
And
coral
slam.
there is on the derelict shuttle.
There we go.
Nice work. This should get the attention of that Typhon nightmare that's hunting you. I'm sending you 2 activation signals. The first will direct the Typhon away from you. The second will bring it down on you. Use your transcribe messaging system to fire them off.
So now we have another way of dealing with the nightmare. We realize it's in its spawning timer, and we just want to get it out of the way, and we don't really want to, or can't really use any neuromods. That's an option we have now. We can also just make him leave. We can only really use it 4 times total, I think, for all of them. I'm probably really not going to use it.
Yeah, it seems like one of those times that you use it in like a panic, and that's close to it.
There are a lot of human corpses in there.
Gee willikers, I wonder how that happened.
The
Certain
fact
it
that
has
the entire
absolutely
thing
nothing
seems
to
to
do
be.
with all of that coral.
No, I think our friend the Weaver might be the reason why it stopped going anywhere.
Perish the thought, sir.
And perish the occupants too.
Also that. How far ahead are we? And we're still basically doing the entire like NASA shuttle thing right here, right?
Oh,
Whatever,
if it
never
works,
mind.
it works.
Just...
So, somewhat annoyingly, I tried to play that, and I end up playing the thing for attracting and then shooing away the nightmare. Whatever. The digital
calling a
recording is only
fax
like
machine.
yeah, and it's like I'm like, can I get it to not do that? And it's like but you can sort of see like the thing we picked up we've already gotten before, the Mayday to the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just try and use it and see what it says. I stop.
Steve, this is Captain Hale, Shuttle Exalt. I'm trying to hail
Yeah,
the bridge.
There we go.
Can you confirm, please? I have some system malfunctions. It's across the board. It's hard to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically the same one, but just
Yeah.
from a different angle, because you may just stumble across it out in space. Yeah, I don't think I don't think these signals work out here anyway, so it wasn't like I was wasting them. Simply because the Phantoms, the Nightmare, and things like that cannot actually operate in space. They cannot function in zero gravity. So you will never encounter them out here. All the floaty things with no legs, you'll definitely.
So what I'm
encounter.
hearing is that when you want to get high, you go outside into the blackness of the vacuum.
Yeah, and just don't try and put the lime in the coconut.
All of the... Never mind.
You just can't keep up with all of the really stupid things we've been saying in this last one.
not just that. It's just like the freaking the aesthetic of going outside to do alien drugs just reminds me of all of those anti-smoking posters where somebody's lighting up a cigarette, but they have to be outside in the rain because nobody wants their cigarette indoors with them, and it's just like, and they say smoking ads never portray smoking this way, do they? And it's just like, relax, okay? You've become almost a self-parody.
Alright, so let's go here for the real bounty, and that is stuff in this room. And there's a lot of stuff in this room, but hey, we're here. We might as well loot the place. We might as well get ourselves some freebies.
I sincerely doubt you want to come back to this place if you can avoid it.
Yeah,
Might
free
as well
Neuromod,
drain it
can't sneeze
dry.
at that. Free Neuromod, free weapon upgrade kit, free recycler. Those are pretty good
Those-
hauls any day of the week.
Yeah, particularly considering that it only took you a couple of spare parts.
And because I'm not trying to reinforce all the turrets I come across, it's I've still got plenty now. That's why I haven't bothered to get the one that lets you pull the spare parts out of the operators. See, this would have been handy if I'd actually gone and tracked down the Arboretum exit airlock. We probably could have just sailed right over there, but no, we can't. So I have to go
Thinking
back.
that far ahead.
No, I even forgot it was there. I thought it might have actually been inside of a different space. So that's me. That's egg on my face. Space
Or
egg
glue
on my helmet.
With the weapon you've got out right now.
That's glue on my face. That'll do. Let's go back to the shuttle bay, because yeah, I don't know. We're almost to the end. There's only really one thing we have left to do.
The things that people apparently consider important to make very obvious on this station just continues to baffle and amuse me. Like
Can you see something on the screen?
Huh?
You notice something that was on the screen there as we're walking around? Have you noticed it?
No, I was too busy.
Can you see a series of like white sort of things just sort of pointing at the top of the screen there, sort of off to the side, up the top? It's getting closer.
There's an
It's getting
objective
closer.
marker over there.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the Nightmare's back,
Oh, damn boy!
and he can't fit through the door. He's a lot less scared now because I got a whole bunch of pillars between me and him.
Man.
Stupid alien can't into doors. Eat it. Human supremacy. Human supremacy. He's really going at it too.
He's just completely.
So I'm like,
pissed
maybe
off
I
by
can,
this.
maybe I can lure him away.
And do the recycler thing again.
I don't want to waste all the recyclers. I want to actually try and take him down with like different stuff every time. So this time will be Q beam time. Although I do try and throw like a super thermal at him, but he's too
Take
far
it out with
away.
the Huntress
Like I
caster.
can only, yeah.
I wish there was an achievement for that. I have a general idea that there's not. I wish there was an achievement for that.
Yeah, so he's really just staring at that Typhon lure this whole time, which is gonna, like, they will do that once you're actually able to, like, get them like that. I'm like,
You're
oh
about
my
to throw
god,
that lure,
I'm
aren't you?
about to throw that Typhon lure, and I'm like, ha, changed my
Quick
weapon.
switch.
Too smart for the video game. So I was like, yeah, I'll just put some bullets into him. I'll lower his health down, and then I'll use the Q beam, because otherwise it takes a lot of Q beam to kill him. Because it'll only go, the Q beam only has to fill up to the health they have.
Right, as
So-
opposed to their maximum health.
Yeah.
360 quick switch.
It's like the one time I nearly did something complete. I was like, I've got like 920 ammo, the equivalent of 8.2 shots before it runs out. So yeah, as you can see, look how slow that's filling up.
Wow, the like rhythm that it's giving you in slow motion there is pretty amazing.
And there we go.
Do.
That's our old friend Mr. Nightmare. He's dead. He's exploded so
He
violently, I
died.
don't know where his corpse went. I can't set off my own fire trap. I'm disappointed.
You should rip just like the hugest fart on it and see what happens.
That's a terrible idea. I'm in a
I
spacesuit.
think it's an amazing
That's
idea.
just
and I think you
all
should
I'm
do
going to
it.
be doing is ripping a fart up into myself.
Yes.
That's a terrible idea.
See that would amuse me.
I can't believe you were trying to trick me. I can't believe you were trying to give me the spicy spacesuit. How could you do this to me? I thought we were friends.
Okay, I'm not topping that.
Alright, well, next time we're gonna go to deep storage. We're not actually going to go to deep storage. We can't get there just yet. So until then, I've been the Lost Robo Guy.
And I've been Cool Guy.
We'll see you all in deep storage living quarters.